Hi everyone, welcome to Granny's Sewing Room. My name is Sherry and I am going to sew the Meet You There dress from Pattern Emporium. Now, my sisters and I, in the summertime, we get together and we have luncheons once a month. So this last summer, we all drew names, and my older sister got me, and I said I wanted her to go pick out a piece of fabric that reminded her of me. So she went out and bought me 3 yards of this fabric. Now these are Shasta daisies. My favorite flower is the Shasta daisy. She didn't know that, so I think that makes it even more special. But 3 yards, it's a cotton, and the problem I'm running into with the dress that I chose, and I already cut out part of it, is that I don't have enough fabric to either make sleeves or the bottom tier. I'm going to do 2 tiers, which is gathered, and so the tiers are quite long. And then the next problem I had, so I thought, okay, I had that problem solved. I was just going to go with a sleeveless dress. Then I go to cut the tier out, the last tier, and the fabric is not wide enough, and I can't change the fabric around because this is a directional print, and the stems are going up and down, and I don't want the other flowers to go, you know, diagonal. So now I can't do the bottom tier of this dress. I could make it a blouse and have sleeves. I really didn't want a blouse, but that might be an option. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start sewing the top up and gather the first tier up and put the what I decided maybe for a second tier. Because for a second tier, let me grab it, but I thought I'd make the bottom tier just this little lace. I don't know, but before I sew it on, I went ahead and cut it out. I'm going to look at it. If I need to just turn it into a blouse, which will be easy to do once I get the top sewn on and try it on and everything, I can do that. I am following the method. I could go out and buy more fabric, but I want it to be what she bought me, and I didn't want to, yeah. So anyway, there's my dilemma. Short sleeve or sleeve top. I could have a top with either short sleeves or with sleeves. I could have a dress, but I will have to come up with my second tier option. So I'm going for the dress, and I'm going to see if this looks okay on it. I don't mind if it looks a little weird, because I'm a little weird. But I'm following the pins and needles tutorial on how to do the burrito back yoke. So the back yoke is enclosed, and I only have to use the bias binding on the neckline, and then the shoulder seams will be enclosed as well as the back yoke. So I thought I would let you see me do some sewing and take you along on this journey with me, and let's see what my dress turns out like. All right, I will get set up and I will be right back. I am making the binding. I just cut it out for the neckline. So she might have sewed her or cut her binding out larger. I went with the pattern. Hope I did. Hope I did the neck and not the armholes. This first time I'm using this little kit. Okay. So that is my binding. Ooh. All right, I'll take you over there as I sew. Now I need to clip my curves. And clip all around, and then I'm going to go press it to the other side. All right, so now I'm going to understitch my binding, and I clipped it, I pressed it, and that thread's driving me nutso. So let's get under here and go. Okay, now I flip it. I'm going to go press it one more time. I'm going to stitch my binding down. I'm going to do my yolks, and I am going to get that under here and get it to going. Now I'm going to clip my curves. Under stitching. I'm going to sew my yoke on the bottom part of my top at 3/8 seam allowance, what the pattern calls for. Okay. All right, so it's all sewed together. Now I roll it up. Kind of like you're making a pillowcase. Don't want it in the seam allowance. And I'm going to pull this over so the other yoke meets up to this yoke. And then I am going to match up my notches again and pin it. And I'm going to use my existing hem as a guide. Here's a notch, here's a notch. And I'm sewing 3/8 of a seam allowance. And I'm just going over the seam I just sewed. I'm going to go give that a serge and be back. I went and serged it. So now we just pull it out and see what I have. Reminds me when I make pillowcases. And there's my back neckline. Oh, I like that. So the neck is enclosed and the top yoke, top facing. I'm going to go give that a press and I'll move to the next step. So I'm just holding that down and I am going to sew the two pieces together now. So I want to kind of, whoop, I guess I can't hold that down. I want to open this up some and I want to pin my yoke even with the front. I better use pins this time. So we open that up right there. Wrap it around. It's just kind of awkward. This is probably going to be the hardest part of the whole dress. And this is just her way of doing it, so the pattern doesn't call for it this way. Now see, this side went a lot easier. How nice. It really does make for a nice clean finish, doesn't it? I didn't put my label in. Oh well, labels bother me. All right, next step. I set my top aside, my bodice aside, and now I'm going to do my gathering stitches. All right, so I'm going to keep gathering it up. I'm going to serge the bottom here. So I have that part done. But I'll get it gathered up and I'll show you when I'm done. The front on and gathered. Looks pretty good. Except for my thread here. It's not going to be real gathered, but it'll be fine. So now I'm going to just sew in between my two gather lines. Try to hold this thread down. That doesn't look bad. And I will remove this stitch. See if I can find it. I went ahead and put the ruffles on the bottom of the, it's going to end up being a top, but I went ahead and put the ruffles on the front and the back. I'm cutting out the sleeves now because I like sleeves. A top with a pair of white pants, I think jeans will look good. So that's what I have done so far. I am going to get the sleeves cut out and it hemmed up. Oh, I got to sew the side seams. So I'm working on my sleeves and I want to take the ease so I can ease my sleeve in. So this is how I do it. See if you can see. Oh, I can't see my hand there. I keep my finger behind my presser foot and I just hold my fabric in place there and let it bunch up as I do a basting stitch all the way around. Just enough ease to put my sleeve in. Okay, I'm going to go over and put my sleeves in. They show in the directions 2 methods of putting the sleeve in. I like these clips, but boy, they make me feel so clumsy. I can't grab a hold of them. Okay, I'm going to go stitch my sleeves on. Okay, I'm going to go serge it. Gonna go press it and then put the hem in, sew the hem in, and then sew the sides up. All right, my top is all done. I do have to hem it yet. I'm debating on taking the sides in. I could have went to a size 14 and a 16 because it's pretty big. It drops off my shoulders. And let me show you the back. I got it crunched up that much. That's how big it is for me. It's a heavyweight cotton, so a couple washes, I think it'll not be so stiff. But I still think maybe to bring it in a little bit. But there you have it. She's all done.